The morning sun bathed Pompeii in golden light, glinting off marble columns and bustling market stalls. Beneath Mount Vesuvius, the city pulsed with life, merchants shouting prices, children chasing each other between fountains, and patricians gliding past in fine tunics. Below, Marcus, a young stonemason, hauled a basket of tools down the narrow street. Claudia's heart skipped. Marcus was no noble, no senator's son, but when their eyes met, the world seemed to shrink to just the two of them. No one noticed the thin trail of smoke curling from the mountain's peak. Claudia adjusted the pins in her dark hair and gazed out from the balcony. When Claudia appeared, wrapped in a pale stola, he felt the weight of his longing. She smiled shyly. Their secret meetings had become the rhythm of her days. A stolen glance at the baths, a murmured greeting at the market, a brief touch as they passed. There, among the laurel trees, they spoke of dreams, of leaving Pompeii, of a life together where no one cared who was patrician or plebeian. But in Pompeii, where status ruled all, their love was as fragile as a clay lamp. That afternoon, Marcus waited by the temple of Apollo, heart pounding. "Come," Marcus whispered, leading her to the garden behind the temple. Her father, Lucius, ordered the slaves to pack, but the streets were already impassable. When Claudia heard Marcus's voice outside, she broke from the atrium and rushed into the chaos. But then the earth shuddered. At the port, ships strained to leave, packed with those who had fled early. But it was too late. Waves surged unnaturally, pulling boats under. At the amphitheater, a crowd gathered, arguing whether to flee or stay. "Vesuvius has always smoked," the older men scoffed. But in the forum, priests whispered uneasy prayers. "We had all we needed." Claudia's sobs racked her body. Marcus pulled her close, pressing his forehead to hers. A black column mushroomed upward, blotting out the sun. Midday became night, but none touched the heart so deeply as the two lovers, caught together in the final breath of a dying city, a reminder that even in ruin, love endures. It was slight, just a ripple beneath their feet, but enough to silence the birds. Claudia gasped, clutching Marcus's arm. Ash rained down like snow, coating his hair, clogging his throat. Buildings groaned and cracked under the weight. In an instant, the city was silent, frozen in a blanket of ash. Merchants at their stalls, lovers in each other's arms, children caught mid-run. People stumbled blindly, clutching rags over their faces, desperate for air. "It's nothing," Marcus said, though his eyes darted to the smoking mountain. By evening, the tremors worsened. Tiles slid from roofs. Dogs howled in the streets. The next morning, the mountain exploded. A deafening roar split the air as Vesuvius hurled ash, rock, and molten fury into the sky. Marcus ran through the streets, calling Claudia's name. At the Villa of the Faun, Claudia huddled with her family. "Marcus!" She screamed. He caught her in his arms, coughing, eyes red with ash. "We have to get to the sea," he rasped. Together they pushed through the crowd, dodging falling tiles, slipping on pumice-strewn streets. From the mountain, a glowing avalanche of ash and gas, the pyroclastic surge raced toward the city. Marcus knew they had only moments. They stumbled into the Temple of Venus, crumbling and abandoned. "I'm sorry," she wept. "I wanted more time." "We had time," Marcus whispered, voice cracking. Outside, the world roared. The surge swept through Pompeii like a god's breath, turning flesh to shadow, love to stone. When the sun rose again, it shone on a buried city, its streets gone quiet, its voices stilled. But under the ash, in the Temple of Venus, Marcus and Claudia remained, two figures locked in an eternal embrace, love immortalized in the shadow of a mountain. For centuries, Pompeii slept. And when at last it was unearthed, the world marveled at the mosaic floors, the murals, the twisted bodies.